country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European.
What did Sleepy Joe know that the rest of us didn't? Well, the fact that he was going to open up our borders to 30 million illegals. And he was going to give them Social Security cards. He was going to allow them full benefits on programs like Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps, HUD housing. Yes, HUD housing. Thank God President Trump just signed an executive order stopping that, folks. You can call this whatever you want, but you had better use the appropriate language. This, my friends, is an invasion.
Import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people and make it a permanent, deep blue, one-party state from which there would be no escape.
Look, if I hadn't seen this myself, I'm not sure I'd have believed it. I went through it myself and mapped it, and Elon is right. This is true. The defaults in the system, from Social Security to all of the benefit programs, have been set to max inclusion.
So what does this actually mean? In English, what does it mean? It means, say you just get to America, you're retirement age or you're disabled, you can apply for Social Security. Well, instead of getting the minimum of $400 a month or say $700 a month because you didn't pay that much in, you get the full maximum amount of over $4,000 a month. Or if they're over 70, they get $5,000 a month. Now, how many of you are on a fixed income from the federal government? How much do you make, friend? $1,200? $1,400? Maybe you're blessed and you make, say, $2,000 a month. How's your living? How's it going for you? Do you have enough to pay all your bills, your medication, your co-pays for your insurance through Medicare? How is that working for you? Now, how do you feel knowing that an illegal alien that has never paid a penny into the system gets this?
Max pay for these people and minimum collection. That's what's happening. We found 1.3 million of them already on Medicaid, as an example. We've gone through on every benefit program we went through, we found groups from this particular group of people, this 5.5 million people in those benefit programs. And then what was really, really disturbing us was why. We're asking ourselves why. And so we actually just took a sample and looked at voter registration records. And we found people here registered to vote. In this population, yes.
And who did vote?
And we found some by sampling that actually did vote. And we have referred them to prosecution at the Homeland Security Investigation Service.
Yeah. Wait, illegal aliens can't vote, Sam. Wrong. Because see, when they come here and they go to get a driver's license, what happens at the driver's license place, the DMV? What happens, folks? They give you this little sheet of paper and they tell you to register to vote. Well, the thing is that in most states, it is illegal for them to ask people, are you a citizen of the United States? You know what? Laws matter. I actually had somebody on TikTok the other day want to get into a debate with me about the requirement of needing identification to vote. They told me that systematic racism causes people not to have an ID to be able to vote. I said, stop. You have to have an ID for a bank account. You have to have an ID to drive. You have to have an ID to get a library card in this country. But somehow it's racist to ask for identification to vote. Guys, you cannot. The level of ignorance is surpassing in this nation. And what's really insane to me is that if I was discussing things like ID is actually systematic racism, YouTube would still pay me. But because I push against their narrative, they thought they could silence me by removing my money. So if you would send even $1 at LinkedIn comments, it would help me convince my husband this is a worthy thing for me to do with my time. Because the Lord says that everything my hands touch will be blessed and prosper. We're growing but we aren't making money, and I can't have it both ways, folks. So please pray about helping us stay
We don't
on
have
the
access
air.
to all of this information because some of it is private right now.
Yeah.
Correlates very heavily with the number of asylum applications filed under Biden. Let me give you some examples. 2021 asylum applications, 152,000. New Social Security numbers, 270,000. 2022 asylum applications, 502,000. New Social Security numbers, 590,000. 2023 asylum applications, 945,000. New Social Security numbers, 964,000. Think about that. In 2021, 270,000 new Social Security numbers. In 2023, 964.
That's insane.
And the fact that we have been discussing quite a bit lately, folks, how the Muslim religion, the Islamic countries are invaders. That's what they are. Pure and simple. When the Muslim faith comes on the scene, everything about a culture is erased. Europe is a current example of that, but I want to show you some. Muslims in general can't stand people from the West. They can't even stand other cultures in the East. Just spend a few minutes Googling the atrocities that they're causing Christians, Jews, and other religions in the East right now. Guys, we have allowed millions of them into our country, but it's really the national students that are here studying, the international students. They're causing a lot of trouble. For some reason, they believe they have a right to come here and file lawsuits. They have a right to everything that you and I have, and they don't. The reason you're seeing this is because we've had a globalist viewpoint shoved down youth's throats. I'm fixing to show you a clip of a Muslim man filing a lawsuit against President Trump. Watch this.
Welcome back to Democracy Now! So you're reinstated at Cornell. You don't lose your visa. And yet now ICE says they're going to deport you. What happened?
Yeah, thank you so much. Good morning, and thank you so much for having me on. I mean, as you said, I think if we're going to take a step back, this is what happens when the universities don't stand by their students. And fundamentally, Cornell has placed a target on my back.
Actually, have some ownership. You place that target on your own back by your own behavior.
Given the heavy-handed nature in which they repressed protests for pro-Palestine, they place targets on their back, and this is the result of that now.
So you want Cornell to stand by their students, and I understand that. But Cornell students change, donors do not, all right? Cornell is a private institution, Mamadou, and you got to understand that. While they give you the opportunity to go to that school, it's not the Gambia that's paying for you to go to that school, okay? Or the UK. You are a PhD grad student, so what that shows me is you're getting a stipend. You're being paid as a PhD student. All PhD students are paid, and then you will be able to get a job because of somebody else that gave money. None of those people come from Africa for the most part. We can guarantee that. So they can't stand by something that will stop their donors because that's how you exist.
Now, so given the executive orders that, were vague, broad, combating anti-Semitism, which made it incumbent on universities to collaborate and report on their students.
To continue receiving tax dollars to these universities, yes. Our current president requires them to actually hold you guys accountable for putting up wanted pictures of Jewish students, for kidnapping workers on the university campuses and holding them hostage in places like libraries. It does, most definitely. You're also, if I'd have played the whole clip, would have heard him say he'd already been suspended twice from Cornell for his behaviors And he's only allowed to go to one building on the university, can't even go to the library without a pass. Why? Because you don't know how to behave, sir. You act like a fool and you need to be kicked out of this country. We're tired of people like you. We have enough problems in America without importing more of them.
Given the high-profile nature of my case, I believed I was going to be a target eventually. And then we saw what happened with Mahmoud, and I thought, okay, what is my best bet at protection here? And that was going to be a lawsuit challenging the legality and constitutionality of Trump's executive orders.
No, not for 1 minute do any of us believe that you understand the United States Constitution that well. Let me tell you what really happened here, folks. He got a phone call from somebody or some nonprofit backed by Soros's money, and they said, sir, let us represent you in a lawsuit against President Trump and his executive orders. Let us do this. We're going to pay for you to live while we're doing it. We'll help hide you. We'll get you on all these news channels. You'll be famous and rich when we're done. Nobody believes that this young man just went, oh, my best bet is to file a lawsuit against the federal government of the United States. No, you are not that smart. I mean, look what you're studying. Seriously, not that smart.
The problem with that, Mamadou, for some people, I'm not saying that you don't have a right, but you're not a citizen. So the country has a right, I believe, I'm not an immigration lawyer, but if they're carrying this out, to deport you and reject your visa. That's the difference.
As we've seen right now, we have descended into a level of lawlessness that
Do you guys not see the gaslighting going on here? The level of lawlessness. You mean like what you did at Cornell? Kidnapping people? Taking over buildings? Threatening Jewish students' lives? They couldn't even go to class, dude. You do not belong in America. You are not worthy to be in America. You and your radicalized Islamic beliefs need to stay in the Middle East, friend. Go back to the UK. Yeah, you heard me say it. Bye. Go back. We don't want you.
that me wanting my day in court to be heard, which is a right, challenging the legality of legality of Trump's executive orders.
You are not a citizen of the United States. It is not your right. Folks, it is okay to have a sovereign country. It is okay to have private property. It is okay to tell people that don't belong in this country that every right that we have under the Constitution is not also for you. He wants to challenge the United States Constitution, but he practices a religion that covers women from head to toe, does sexual mutilation of them, doesn't allow them to report rapes, and keeps them from becoming educated. Sir, I'm sorry. You're in the wrong country.
I've been met with ICE agents or federal agents coming to my property.
Hold up. You're getting a little familiar here. Your property? Do you own property in the United States? And how did that happen if you're here on a student visa? Anybody else catch that? Coming to my property. No, sir, you don't have property here. You better not have. It's time for me to do a little more research.
I've been told to surrender to ICE. My visa is revoked, all in what I believe to be a retaliation, or what I believe in is to prevent me from having my day in a federal court.
Obviously, 99% of the gunmen that I have seen are Muslim, and you can see that by, in this particular video alone, he is a Muslim. He dresses in that particular garb. So he identifies, I believe, partly because of the faith, and many Palestinians are Muslim, okay? So that might be one of the reasons why he's pro-Palestine, and for other reasons that he doesn't have to disclose. We could all feel that Palestine is being treated unfairly by Israel. But here is my point. As a pro-black, you are studying Africana studies. You are not studying Middle Eastern studies. You are a PhD in Africana studies, which that should be your mission, in my honest opinion.
Have you guys seen the office siren videos going out all over TikTok and Instagram and on YouTube? Ladies, listen to me. This is all fake, okay? These ladies are not pushing this hard against HR. This is just another attempt to get views and likes, especially from men, and to skew you into believing that you can't get ahead with your brain, that you must do it with your physical body. Please push back against this trend. It's nasty, it's dirty, and what's shocking to me are videos like this.
I just got home from a job interview. And they told me that I'm not going to get the job because of my outfit. Are you kidding me? Okay, let me calm down. This was going to be my first job, and I prepared. I Googled what to wear to a first interview, you know, and this is basically what came up. Yeah, I mean, I added these because I wanted to like add a little bit of myself, you know, because I wanted to stand out. And
not only is she a terrible actress, you guys, I mean, horrific. Honestly, I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it. I think she's a prostitute. Nobody in their right stinking mind wears black fishnets with half their chest exposed, their belly exposed, and a slit to their crotch. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That did not pop up as what to wear to a first interview. And she's like 30. Is this your first job? That is what I'm talking about when I say nothing that you see on social media anymore is actually real. There were thousands of people that fell for this. Oh, you poor thing. Oh my God. And I'm watching her going, she's fake crying. She's over exaggerating. She keeps grabbing the slit in her pants and pulling it higher. It's all for views. This is where we're at in this country. Love you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe for more down-to-earth, real content like this.
So this is awkward, but I got fired on the first day at my new job, all because of an outfit that I wore. I've always resonated with the saying, look good, feel good, so I just wanted to look pretty so that I could feel confident and give a good first impression, but clearly that backfired. If you guys missed my video, this is the outfit that I wore. Here's a close-up. As soon as I walked into work, my boss, who, keep in mind, I barely know because I'm new, calls me over, and I got so excited and literally ran up to her because I thought she was gonna compliment my outfit, but she basically started berating me and telling me how inappropriate my outfit was for work and that I needed to change, and I felt really insulted, so I stood up for myself. I was respectful, but I did tell her that I've been through it with envious females. I'm used to females being super jealous of me, and that I could sense her insecurity and that my outfit wasn't going to affect the way that I perform at my job. She essentially told me to go home and not come back. I've just been feeling very distraught and traumatized, especially because they were only paying me $200,000 a year, so I assumed that they would not enforce a dress code.
Yes, this young woman has never had a job making $200,000 a year. And I don't believe a word she said, but you'd be amazed at the millions of people that did. Yeah. Wise up, folks. That's the most narcissistic video I could find for you guys. And I just, had to share. Some of us live in a real world where we work physically every day to make our lives and other people's better. And then we have content creators like that.